Hello, my name is Sensei Alex Kakio, and I'm a teacher in the Bright Dawn Center of Oneness Buddhism. I'm also the author of the Buddhist blog, The Same Old Zen. Today's talk will be a little bit different. I won't be responding to one question specifically, rather I'll be responding to a host of questions I've received around the shootings that have taken place recently in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio, and how we as Buddhists should respond to these shootings. Unfortunately, this is becoming an increasingly common occurrence. I've actually written several articles in my blog about shootings that have happened and tragedies that have happened in the past along these lines. And I'll post links in the description below, but it never gets easier, right, to deal with this sort of thing, and yet we have to. So, as I meditated on this question, how do we as Buddhists deal with mass shootings, I thought of a Zen koan that I'll share with you now. There was a Buddhist teacher living in a hut in northern China, and a student visited him from southern China, which was in great turmoil at the time. And the teacher, wanting to hear more about southern China, asked, "What is Buddhism like in the south?" To which the student replied, "There's lots of discussion." And the master replied to the student by saying, "My vegetables are growing quickly." Confused, the student replied, "What does that have to do with the world?" And the master replied, "What do you call the world?" So there's a lot to unpack in this koan, but suffice it to say that a long time ago, there was a very big difference between northern China and southern China. Northern China was more rural, more country-like, whereas a lot of the industry and the cities were in the south. So there was a lot going on there in terms of Buddhism and who had the true Buddhism, quote unquote, and there were political assassinations and whatnot. So it's a very dangerous time. And that's where the student was coming from, this very raucous, very rambunctious place. And he comes to the countryside in the north, and his teacher's telling him about vegetables. And the student asked, what do your vegetables, what do your garden have to do with what's going on in the south and all the troubles we have there? And the teacher was simply reminding the student that his garden was just as much a part of the world as anything that lived in southern China. And by improving his garden, by having its vegetables grow quickly, he was improving the world and helping the world be better and more beautiful by extension. So that's a good lesson for us as we work with our own personal gardens, whatever that may look like. Whether it's a literal garden with plants, or whether it's our family, or our job, or an exercise program we just took up. One very effective way for us to make a positive difference in the world is to make a difference in our own small bubbles, our own internal and external gardens. So if we want to respond healthily to the mass shootings that have taken place, there are a lot of ways we can do that. We can spend more time with our families. We can work harder at our jobs. We can spend a little extra time in the garden with our plants. And as the vegetables of our lives grow more healthily, the world becomes a more beautiful place. The world is better if we make our beds than if we don't make our beds in the morning. And if we do these little things, then we're making a positive difference. And of course, we don't always know how these positive differences will emanate out into the world any more than the teacher knew how his vegetables growing quickly would make things better in southern China. But he knew that a world with a healthy garden was better than a world without one. So we can ensure that our own personal gardens are healthy, whatever they look like, because the world is better if our family, our job, our exercise program, whatever it is stronger and healthier than if it's not. And if you're still not convinced that this is the best way forward, then I ask you, what do you call the world? So that's the talk. I hope it was helpful. If you'd like to hear or read articles that I've written on Buddhism, you can do that at my blog, The Same Old Zen, which can be found at sameoldzen.blogspot.com. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. That way you'll be notified if I post talks in the future. And if you're watching on either Twitter or Facebook, please don't forget to share. That way we can all learn together. Again, my name is Sensei Alex Kakio, and I hope this was helpful. Until next time. Amitabha.